It is a bright sunny day here on Ogtv, and we are happy to welcome to our program, Your Image, your public relations flagship program that is helping the nation to further enhance development, to connect people for developmental rights, and to also ensure that there's unity, peace, and development in the nation. Today, we are looking at currency redesign issues and implications. Of course, I have in the house Dr. Simon Otumala. He's a political scientist and lecturer at Federal College of Education, Abeokuta. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. And
I have a veteran in the house, veteran journalist, former deputy editor-in-chief of News Agency of Nigeria, Mr. Dele Akishola. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's nice having you.
It's nice to feature in on this program too.
It's a pleasure to having you. If you look at the situation in the country, we are grappling with so many issues, and of course the current one is the currency redesign, and it's giving so much concern. We're going to look at the issue that are developing, and we're also going to look at the implications. In your own view, this currency design situation, how do you perceive it? Is it going down well with the populace?
Well, yeah, thank you very much. It came to us like a surprise, let me say, and because it was conceived by the powers that be to catch all of us unawares, particularly the political class.
Why?
Because it was ab initio stated clearly, unambiguously, by Mr. President, that they don't want vote buying in this year's election. And so since last year we've been on it, and the president promised that he wants to leave behind a legacy of transparent, credible, and transparent, credible, and fair polls, that no one will be given that undue advantage to use money to buy votes. And there was this security report, and the CBN too is also aware, and they told us that over 3 trillion naira are outside the banking system in private homes. That people have built vaults in their homes and keeping money. You know, the ordinary individuals do not have trillions, but maybe they will have billions here and there. And so the CBN has been battling with this problem of how to show up the value of the naira, and then juxtaposed against the exchange rate. And the argument has always been that, because we have so much money outside the nation, outside the banking system, and that there was need to mop up the excess liquidity from circulation. And so the argument is that why people are putting money at home is affecting the economy too. It's hurting the economy because the money is not circulating. And the argument has always been that maybe people who stash such money at home, they want to use it for election. And so Mr. President, in his wisdom, in conjunction with the governor of the CBN, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, they now came up with this idea and said, the only thing to do is to get all the old notes, mopped up, and then they redesigned the naira, and then they wanted to make sure that the new notes, of course, will hit everywhere before the deadline that they initially fixed for January 31 or so, until there was this hue and cry by people. No one had access. Even as I speak to you, I only had access to the new naira notes, 1,000 naira notes, maybe about 3 weeks ago. It was accidental. I just went to Sterling Bank at Okelewu, and I slotted in my ATM, and I was lucky to get the notes. Ever since, I have not touched the new naira note any longer. At that time, I think I would do about 20,000 naira or so. But the problem has always been that, look, those who have, billions at home and they want to do election, they are likely, to corrupt the system. They are likely, to compromise the electoral system so that it won't be free and fair. When you now buy votes and all of that, the will of the people, of course, will be mortgaged, will be compromised and all of that. And maybe that's why Mr. President said, but the target, since it was targeted at the political class itself, little did they know that the effect of it will be more on the ordinary citizens, the poor, in fact, on businesses and all of that. So it is the ripple effect of the Naira design vis-a-vis the scarcity of that currency. Look at what played out in the last 1 week or so, nationwide. Violent demonstrations, killings and all of that, that people could not, the angry people, livid with rage. They couldn't access. You kill at the FTM, then you will be at the, you go to POS. You are in fact, the POS now, they are now making, humongous profit, extorting people. You want to withdraw 5,000 naira, they will tell you to part with 1,000 naira as commission. So it has affected all segments of life and all
Thank you
that.
so much, Mr. Kishola. Well, Doctor, we are in a very critical situation politically. We're learning, and the elections are so close. What are the political implications of this currency redesign, particularly at this moment? How will it affect people's interest? How will it affect the plan design for the election?
Thank you very much, sir. The fortunate thing is that Nigeria is a country with a strong will to deliver on our interests.
Okay.
And that cannot be taken away from the average Nigerian. Like the general assertion that the currency redesign is to check vote buying, to check the consequential corruption of the political process, to take the possibility of mortgaging or buying the interest or the opinion of the electorate. I find that idea preposterous.
Okay.
I must say that with all sense of humility. To say that our political system, our democratic system, our electoral processes since 1999 is still contending with the trivial issue of vote buying is, to say the least, that we have a problem that had to do with solving the economic need of the masses. It simply shows that we have not done adequate political orientation. If after 22 years of democratic experience unbroken, we are still contending with vote buying. But that is, by the way, that is the real thing at stake. What is the implication?
Okay.
Today is night. If election comes up on the 25th, we have a major challenge at hand. The political class to which this policy is supposed to checkmate will be the first group of persons that will have access to that new Naira note without any stress. Now, in our basic political science class, we were told of the greatest good for the greatest number of people. The masses are at the receiving end. In the past 1 week, it has been from one level of challenge to the other, to the point that you go to POS to withdraw 20,000, they will tell you to part away with 4,000 naira. You want 40,000, you part away with 8,000. Don't forget that 8,000 is what some people make in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So if I'm taking 50,000, I'll part away with 10,000. We have forgotten the fact that we are trying to check a minor problem, but we are creating the larger one. We are creating a problem that will be too difficult for us to solve. Because if Mr. President and the governor of the Apex Bank think that they are trying to solve one problem and they are creating other avenues for about 30, 40 problems, because the artisans, the secondary builders of the economy, those who deals in petty trade of 100, 200 naira, we don't have cash to deal with them. But we are dealing with elections of the 25th. Now, if we say that we want to do currency redesign, it is not the first, this is not the first time we are doing so in Nigeria. And Nigeria is not going to be the first country we are going to redesign currency. But the problem is this: if a policy is not working, I feel that the governing class should man up enough to say that this thing is not working. Now, if you want to withdraw the old currencies, you should be able to bring out commensurate new currencies, such that those of us who have less than 100,000 in the bank, when we need our 10,000, we should be able to get it. Now, we should put restriction on those who you want to check. But unfortunately, we saw videos within the past 1 week of bank executives, local bank executives, storing up this cash. What are they going to do with it? It is simply said, they want to transfer it to those who will pay for it.
The highest bidder.
The highest bidder. And I, for example, don't know anybody in the banking sector who will give me that cash. So I'll be moving from one ATM to the other. The good time queuing. And unfortunately, we saw what happened somewhere in Osogbo or Abuja when one bank, I don't want to mention the bank here, that had to wrap the currency with nylon. The nylon they ought to have removed.
It won't dispense.
It won't dispense. And they locked the ATM. What he's simply saying is that when the masses get tired of waiting, they will move away and they will remove the money from where they have placed it. So we are trying to solve a problem. We are creating multiple problems. Because in basic medicine, when you diagnose a problem, you're supposed to provide lasting solution. But in this case, we have diagnosed a problem. Is that really a problem? Democratization process should follow through. But we have not solved what is supposed to be solved. If we have adequate orientation for the voting class, we should have said that, okay, elections are around the corner. Let us find a very logical way of controlling vote buying or checking that action that is antithetical to democratic development. If we do that, the issue of controlling the political class, because at the end of the day, they will get the currency at the comfort of their houses.
And they will still do vote buying.
And they will still do vote buying.
Let me ask you, in the process of planning and executing this currency design, do you see order? Do you see proper planning? Do you see clear vision? And do you see delivery of the policy to the citizens?
Definitely no. I should have to say that the conception of this Naira redesign, it was planned to fail, because shortly after the Naira was redesigned, the governor of CBN, bolted out of the country on vacation throughout last year, December. And there was this
maybe for an official assignment.
Not in the heat of the Naira redesign. That immediately he presented the currencies to Mr. President. He vanished. Nobody could see him anywhere. If he had stayed, perhaps he had stayed to monitor the process, because the deputy governors under him do not have that mandate to either increase or determine the amount they are going to print. From a good authority, let me quote maybe Governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai. He said they mopped up about 2 trillion naira from circulation, and that on a good authority, he had that the CBN governor only printed 800 billion. How do you mop up 2 trillion and you are releasing 800 billion into circulation?
Even the 800 billion that was also printed.
Yes.
Did they have?
Yeah, there was
of distribution.
Yeah, distribution. That is it. That's where I'm going. They had this, according to him, to the governor of the CBN, This plan was, conceived and discussed and executed, of which involved MDs of various banks. Now, in distributing the new Naira notes, shouldn't it be distributed evenly among all the 23 banks or 20 or 26 banks that we have in the country?
About 25, 26.
25 or 26. So now it is amazing that you will now find out that in some states you won't find this currency there. In some other states, the same governor of Kaduna State, spoke about some days back to say that the governor in the north had collected 500 million naira of this new notes. Up till now, nobody has gone after that governor, either to prosecute the manager who released that money, because they will take the money to them in government house. Yes. Not that they will go and queue at the bank to do that. And then fire has released it in the public. So it is for security agencies to check it.
He's been asked to divulge or to open up on the personality.
Yeah, you should go ahead and do that. So before I now leave this issue of the proper monitoring, now the CBN across the states, across the country, ought to have set up a monitoring team to go ahead and see whether the money that they are distributed or released actually get to such bank branches in all the 36 states, because I know that in all the 36 states they have CBN offices or branches.
Yes.
And then from there, they ought to have gone to ensure that all the banks in the states get what they are due for, because they are not going to be given to them on the basis of the number of banks. They are given to the headquarters of those banks.
Yes.
It's the business of the headquarters of those banks
to distribute
to their branches. And so that's what it ought to be. But for all of this, I get that because the CBN governors was rattled by the DSS, the intimidation of being arrested and all of that, his mind was not even at rest. Immediately he resumed from vacation, he went into office with 50 lorry loads of 50 armed soldiers to at least to protect himself and to avoid being arrested by DSS and all of that. So
let me ask you, what is the stakeholders' interest in this particular issue? Were they not catered for?
The stakeholders, who are the stakeholders here? Who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders were not carried along in ab initio why this policy is being conceived. And so you and I should be stakeholders. Even the banks, they should be major stakeholders. They are major stakeholders. And like I said earlier, one of the key stakeholders, they are the bankers committee. Of course, which the governor of the CBN is the chairman of the bankers committee. And they met in, I think in January 29, if I'm not mistaken. And they discussed some of these things, the modalities of distributing and all of that. But the issue has always been that the president was recently told that maybe he said he gave consent to the Naira redesign based on the information available to him, that the money, that the currency will not be printed abroad, that it will be printed locally, because we have the minting and printing corporations in Victoria and Lagos there. Yes, if they do it. But what is the problem now not printing enough currency of about 2 trillion naira that they can release?
I think I should add this to the conversation.
All right. Okay.
Now, when we started this discussion, we said the CBN want to.
Okay.
And don't let us forget, we should not miss it, that institutions established in Nigeria want to step their bounds.
How?
The CBN have its mandate. And his mandate is not check vote buying. We should not forget that fact. Because if the CBN has sticked to policies regarding, there are a whole lot of positions across public discussions with respect to what is happening. And we should not forget, the CBN governor is an interested party in the political process.
Okay, let me just supposedly
such that we might want to frame, he might want to frame ignorance or not being concerned with what happened in the last primaries, but form was purchased on his behalf.
But he denied.
But he denied. And we saw vehicles printed in his name.
Branded and branded vehicles, hundreds of vehicles.
So the fact is this. The fact is this. For every element of a rumor, the element of truth. So we are here making this conversation because this policy is hitting and biting hard on the masses.
Okay, let me ask you, what is the implication for the coming election?
See, the funny thing is this. Yes, there are a whole lot of implications for the coming election, but what is the implication for the satisfaction of the average Nigerian on the street?
That's why I'm asking you, what are the implications?
Because if you say that you have a policy that is not going down well with the masses, because in our widest imagination, it is to check vote buying, you are already making the process faulty from the scratch. Because, like I said, the CBN have his mandate. And if INEC begin to talk about the currency in circulation as against facing the responsibility of making election free and fair, we know that something is wrong.
Okay, let me ask you.
All right.
When we look at the logistics for the election and the process of running, that is looking at the overheads, and now all these activities will be made, what is your prediction?
Well, I believe that with the Naira scarcity or new notes scarcity, the February 25th and March 11th polls, I think they are endangered. It would definitely affect it, and because you see, the people need money to mobilize. Political parties, they need money to mobilize people.
Even individuals need money.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Because I may want to go and vote in Ota.
Okay.
And then for me to now travel, maybe Thursday, to go to where I'm going to vote, where would I get money to do that?
And don't forget, we are contending with a major fuel scarcity.
Because that one is a twin problem.
So if we are going into this election, you don't have fuel, you don't have money. If you go, now, don't let us forget also,
we'll further look into all the other issues. Well, viewers, this is where we're going to stop at this junction. It is a problem that we all have to come together and resolve. Government must be available. Government must do what is right. And organs of government must also comply and be people-oriented. Well, Delajola, it's nice having you.
Thank you very much.
And I hope you'll be with us next week.
I will definitely.
We will touch on contemporary issues affecting the election, affecting the currency redesign, and some other things next week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being part of us.
Thank you very much.
And Dr. Otumala.
Thank you, sir.
I like your perspectives. Well, next week, we also look at other factors that may affect the well-being of the citizens and the normal peace that is supposed to prevail in the nation. Viewers, we thank you for being with us this week. This is where we're going to stop. I'm Akin Kudero, your anchor. Until next week, play safe, be law abiding, and don't let us take laws into our hands. It will be well. Thank you so much. Bye.